What was it? The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. At sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no voice, no guys. Me, really, bro. Really, bro. It's Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. I was dangerously close to a sweep. Dangerously close. We get the started off chronological order. The dog hits early. You know it's a good day when your dog hits early. But the dog hits early. Mercury plus 190 on the money line. I mean, that Mercury Liberty game was one of the game of the year. Possibly in contention for game of the year. I think it is. But ultimately, it came down to the home court edge. I think that's really what was it, the home court edge. We get another Mercury cash here. That's I'm looking at the sheet just really, really quickly. That's like the fourth time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, fourth time. Fourth time this season we've cashed with the Mercury. Might have to start running that back more often. Then we get to today. And Aaliyah Edwards just doesn't get the chance. I mean, she just didn't. She played 20 minutes, and it just seemed early fouls. And then it was Steph Dolson, it was Angsler, it was Maisha Hines-Allen. It was everybody but Aaliyah Edwards. So, that didn't cash. The bonus lock doesn't go. But then it wasn't even a sweat. Like, not even a sweat. Under 161 for Minnesota and Atlanta. I saw this line go up. It got up to 162.5 at some point. The total closes, what is this? 110 plus 13, 123.
I mean, the dream can't score, so it is what it is.
55 points for Atlanta Dream, 68 points for the Minnesota Lynx. Lynx also covered that 10-point spread that it bloomed up to. We got it 8.5, but some people got it 10. Still cashed. Then we move over to Scott, who had a day.
I should have.
We'll talk about.
I'm still annoyed by it, but whatever.
We'll talk about the Cam Brink injury, but Cam Brink does not get over. She doesn't get over a points prop, right? Before she went out. No.
She played 4 minutes, so
yeah. No. So she didn't get over a points prop. So Cam Brink went down. We'll talk about that because the Sparks are playing later today. We'll get to that breakdown. He cashes Cam Brink under 8.5. Tough way to cash it, but you know what? Hey, we'll take it. Then he gets Sabrina Ionescu. 8+ assists at plus 300. I mean, take a bow. Take a bow for 8+ assists, plus 300 for Sabrina Ionescu. So Scott, by the way, just so you know, that makes 6 locks in a row for Scott. We're not going to count the bonus lock, but that's 6 locks in a row. And then Scott gets 8 assists. She has 7. She sits on 7 for what feels like an entire half. And
she had 7 with 3 to go in the third quarter.
7.5 doesn't cash for Scott.
I got to 8, and then it was removed, but I had 8 for about 5 minutes. So I lost in a stat correction.
Yeah, no. So I don't know what happened with that. I remember that being at 8-2. I remember seeing it hit 8-2.
They corrected.
And then they came back with another one. That blew me too. But
I saw some people were kind of laughing a bit at how I set it like insurance on my props because I get stat corrected all the time. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I got stat corrected. I watched it, though. I watched the entire second half. The 7 were pretty straightforward. And then she didn't really do anything. She scored more in the second half, but she had one, I'd say, pass down low to Brianna. And Brianna took a couple of dribbles in the paint and then made a layup. And they gave it to her. When I was watching it live, I was actually surprised they gave it to her personally. So I was not shocked they removed it. But it was in Connecticut. So I thought they might try to do some home cooking stuff for the assists for their best player. So I'll put it this way. I'm not shocked that it was not ruled an assist in the end, but it was an assist for about 5 minutes. So that kind of sucks. 0 assists in 13 minutes, though, for one of the best playmakers in the league is definitely unfortunate. But yeah, just unlucky. It is what it is.
All right. It's all good. If y'all didn't know, because I didn't introduce him, that's Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what else is going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, overall, doing pretty well. Still a solid episode. Hit the 3-1 dog. The price plummeted on Ionescu. I think she closed at like plus 170 for 8 assists. So I beat over $1 line move and I got there, which was nice. And she had exactly 8. Crazy game, a lot of fun. Brink, of course, not how you want to cash it, but we had under 8.5 and she had 0. Hopefully makes a full recovery. I believe it's officially a torn ACL, so she's going to be done for the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. But either way, point is still a good episode. 3-1, cash a lock. Should have been a sweep, but it is what it is. Not going to complain too much.
Yeah, nothing to complain about. We both, and that's my fault. Honestly, truly, Scott, I think it's my fault. I should just let us stick with our lock and roll. We both added bonus locks, and both of the bonus locks didn't hit. Now we just got an extra L on the record for no reason. I didn't have to do that. That's my fault. We're just gonna stick with it because we would have went 4 for 4. We would have been 4 for 4. Man, all right. It is what it is. Okay, we got, what is it? 3 games to talk about. 4 games on the slate on the next 2 days. However, the Aces are playing right now. They're up 39-28 over the Seattle Storm and sweating the over 169.5. Some people might have it at 172.5 as where it closed, but it's a sweat there. Live total of 171.5. We'll see how that goes as the game goes on. But here we are, Scott. We're going to get to 3 games to be able to talk about here. Before we do that, gotta talk to the people about the countdown to football season. And we've got you covered. We got the college football experience. Shout out to my team with the college football experience. Me, Kobe Dan, Patty C, NC Nick, Noah B Nick, Moneyline Mac, all of us together having fun breaking down college football. And you got SGPN's 5-minute fantasy football, quick and dirty podcast, getting you prepped for all things fantasy this season. Make sure you check out the college football experience and 5-minute fantasy football on YouTube. All right. First game up on the docket. This is an early one. 12 p.m. in Chicago. It's camp day. The Dallas Wings on the road going to play the Chicago Sky. Open up
that's
lane
why
3.
The game's at noon. I didn't know why the game was at noon. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, it's camp day. Camp day. So 4.5 is the total. 161. No, I'm sorry. 4.5 is what the Sky are laying now. 161 is the total. Injury report here. You have Natasha Howard, who has been upgraded, still not expected to play here, but they have upgraded her to show that she's making progress. The big news from Dallas is that Maddie Segrist did fracture her finger. She fractured her finger in that game in the first quarter, actually, and then went on. I'm pretty sure she went on to cash the points prop after that. So she broke her finger 15? In the first quarter. She had 17. It was 16.5. She had 17. She breaks her finger in the first quarter, goes on to cash her points prop. Now she's going to be out for an extended amount of time. And then you have the signing of Mo Birch. Hey, if you remember, Scott, Mo Birch came over from Chicago, went to the Mercury, got waived by the Mercury, and now she's here on a hardship contract with Dallas. Mo has history with the Chicago team now. So This is the second time Dallas has signed somebody right, like pretty close proximity to a revenge game. They did the same thing with Mo Billings, and now you got Mo Birch. And so here we go. Chicago looking to get back on the slide, laying 4.5 here. Enrique is also questionable. That's another tidbit that you have to add. There's not 100% possibility that Enrique is playing in this game. And because of that, this is pretty easy. I'm taking Chicago.
Can I play the drop, or is it are there too many variables? Can I play the drop or no?
I mean, Dallas, I guess you could play it off of technicality, but it's really not Dallas's fault why they're 3-10.
To be fair, I think I have to play it anyway because there's a chance Enrique does not play, and we have a full mop-up squad. So I kind of have to play it. We'll see if Natasha Howard plays. They need her as soon as possible.
She's not.
Probably not. The thing is, I want to fade both these teams. And I basically have been when we've been covering these games, and they're against each other. So this is one of those games where you have two teams that right now are objectively bad. Maybe they'll figure it out, but right now they're in bad form. And now they're against each other, so you just can't blindly fade both. I want to. I can't. But I think I have to lean Chicago because I know who's playing for Dallas. Enrique doesn't play. This line balloons up to what? Like 8? 9? I don't know where this line's going to go. I mean, there's a chance Enrique doesn't play.
Say all that.
It might. I don't know. We saw that Wings line explode last game. Then again, Minnesota's a lot better in general, but that line closed 15. Like that line might balloon up a bunch of points. I don't know what Enrique is worth to a point spread, but the teams are.
I wouldn't be surprised if Enrique played. Honestly, I would pretty much assume that she sees the opportunity in front of them. You got to get a win wherever you can. So I would think that she just says, "All right, we're going to be able to go today."
Personally, I think that she's going to play, but I'm saying on the slim chance she doesn't, this line's going to explode. And I don't really know where the line would close if Enrique was out. Plus, if she is healthy, I don't know how healthy. Like, she might just be playing through an injury, and that's not ideal anyway. I think I have to lean to Chicago. I think it's going to be a close game, but I do think eventually Chicago has enough. Dallas is just so bad in the second half. And I think that the Sky's first half has been a big concern. They're a decent second half team from what I remember. I think it's mostly just getting off the bad starts. So maybe if you wanted to go for like Dallas first half, Chicago full game, you might be able to find an interesting option there. But I can't back Dallas. This team doesn't guard anybody. They're bad in the second half. The entire team's injured. I mean, you mentioned before that they're even more shorthanded now than they were about a week ago. They're running out of bodies. At least Chicago is healthy. They might not be a good team. They're not entirely healthy, but they're a lot healthier than Dallas. That's good enough for me. Camp day. Let's send the campers home happy. Give me Chicago.
All right. Wings in the first half are 7-6, 6-1 on the road. And Chicago first half 6-6, 4-1-1 at home. So little conflicting of a mark there. Both good in the first half, both one good on the road, which they are, one good at home, which they are. I just have a hard time backing the Wings, and just one, not knowing the status of Enrique, but also the fact of now we gotta, Mo Birch, we gotta figure out what her role is gonna be. Is she gonna come out? She can shoot from the outside. She's gonna add a bunch of offense to this team, but I mean, it's maybe Enrique, Mo Billings. I think that you have what else? Tierra McGowan probably can get some play on the inside and just be able to score, use their physicality. But yeah, it's just not too many offensive options. Like, they just keep losing all their scorers. Satu, Natasha Howard, Maddie Seegers, who's been averaging 14 points this season, 13, 14 points this season. Enrique is banged up. Like, yeah, man, I can't back this Wings team like that. Chicago laying 4.5 here. 161 is the total. I'm taking the under. And just the options for Dallas are limited. I think that this is a pretty decent spot for the Sky, but the Sky also kind of, the question is, are they consistently going to get offense? And I don't think they are. I think they need a true point guard, like a true point guard. We'll see what Kenny Carter brings to them offensively, as she's probably going to get another start here. They seem like they're moving over to that Carter in the starting lineup, but No, I just don't. I don't really trust both teams consistently offensively, and I definitely don't trust Dallas like at all right now with all the injuries they have. So I'll take the under 161.
I think I have to agree. It's just one of those spots where I think at the end of the day, it's a game where I'm not sure Dallas is going to have any bodies to score in this game. Maybe. I mean, Enrique has been a mess efficiency-wise anyway. Chicago offensively has been up and down. We'll put it that way. Defensively, they've kind of been struggling lately, but I think I am going to lean under. It's a random afternoon game in the middle of the week. It's also kind of a weird scheduling spot for these teams. Maybe they come out flat. Kind of like why we always talk about unders in like first halves of the NCAA tournament, because you're just having a random game in an afternoon, and it's a little bit of a random spot. I would lean under. Probably not going to bet the total or the side. I got to get more information. I'll tell you right now, though, if Reichel doesn't play, I'll take Billings points, rebounds, and assists. I think that's an option. She was 1 assist away from a triple-double last game. So I have to wait to see if Enrique is going to play or not. But I'm going to lean Chicago.
All right. Player props. Or is there even anything available with all the injuries on Dallas side?
It wouldn't shock me if there wasn't, or if they only had sky props. Of course, I like Reese rebounds. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. She's been cashing rebound props for the last, 2 weeks, maybe entire season at this point. So I'll go back to her when the lines get posted, but I don't really have much else. I mentioned Billings if Enrique is out, but I don't have much else because the Wings are shorthanded, very shorthanded. And even
if Enrique plays, you hammer Billings. If Enrique plays, you got to hammer the Billings prop. They're going to drop her points prop by a point just for Enrique playing. She might still be at 11.5 when this game, because there's no option. She's the second leading scorer. When you look at all the people that are healthy bodies, she's the second leading scorer. You got to play her.
Yeah. By the way, I don't
Billings
see
is the play of the day.
So we have no official props for this, but
I'm running back Marina Mabry. She goes off against this Dallas team, gives them buckets pretty consistently every time. She's probably the only consistent scoring option besides Candy Carter. And Candy Carter, I mean, I'm just going to trust the two scoring options against the Dallas team that I really still have questions about defensively. So Candy Carter and Marina Mabry are going to be my 2 points overs that I would take for this one. And I would take Cardoso rebounds as well. I just think that she's gonna be out there with Tierra McGowan, and it's gonna be a battle between two of them. And Cardoso is probably gonna be set 6.5, significantly worse. And Tierra McGowan not as good on the boards this year, just having a little bit of struggle early part of the season. So yeah, I'm probably gonna back Cardoso again in this game as well on the boards, as long with Reese. I think both of them will have a good game.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the next game of the slate, got to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy, because you can create entries up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex the entry. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. You can win up 325 times your original amount. We have an Underdog lineup that we always do at the end of the show, so make sure you tune in for that. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Plus, don't forget, Underdog has a special pick going on. If you sign up now, you can get a special pick until Sunday on Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark in anticipation for their game this Sunday. So make sure you go get that offer and your first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBASGPN. Next game on the slate. The Los Angeles Sparks on the road going to play the New York Liberty. Liberty are laying 14.5 here at home. 164 is the total. Injury report and the big news that dropped today that everybody wants to know about. Cam Brink tore her ACL in that Connecticut Sun game. She's done for the year. That's tough. You have a already questionable defensive squad in the Los Angeles Sparks, and they lose their best defender. This doesn't feel like it's going to be good. Now, will the offensive efficiency go up? Maybe. But defensively, this team is going to look horrible. Catching 14.5 here on the road are the Sparks. I'm telling you.
Where are you at, though, with the Liberty? Because I know earlier this season we blindly faded them laying double digits. Is that ship
Yeah, that's
sailed?
the hard part.
Or That's why I'm kind of wondering.
I mean, they're still not covering it. I mean, if we go off of what was this? What's today? The 17th, the 19th, 18th? No, it's 19th. Yeah, it's Juneteenth. Duh. So 10 days ago, they didn't cover against the Mystics. And we thought the Mystics were the worst team in basketball at that point. And that was at home as well. It was actually Ellie's birthday, and they still didn't cover. Do we get up with one of our best players out afterward? That one game where we get up and then after that we're complete trash. Is that what this Sparks team is going to do? Can we lay 14.5 with the Liberty against any other team but the Fever?
I mean, I watched a lot of that Sparks game because I had 80 assists, so I did watch a lot of it. The Sparks are horrible in pretty much every capacity defensively. Offensively, Nurse hit some threes, but it was mostly Connecticut getting up by about 20, and then they took their foot off the gas. That's why the Sparks backdoor covered it, is because Connecticut basically pulled everyone, and they allowed the Sparks to outscore them heavily in the fourth quarter. I think the Sun outscored them in the first three quarters individually. So I didn't think the Sparks were any good. The problem was what happened with the Sun might happen with the Liberty, where they just go up a lot. Liberty are also off a loss if they're losing to Phoenix. They're turning home after, once again, a pretty difficult road trip, playing Vegas and playing Phoenix. Getting home against LA and LA having to travel. Actually, no, because they played in Connecticut, so there's really not much travel for the Sparks. But I think the Liberty have a chance to bury this team. If they are engaged enough, if the Liberty I told you were going to walk out for a guaranteed 40 minutes of effort, I think they win this game by like 20. The problem is, I think a part of me at least is afraid that they're going to take their foot off the gas. So I think I'd rather take Liberty first half. I just think after losing to Mercury, they're going to come out and bury this team. And then afterwards, I don't want to worry about the last 5 minutes of the game. Give me Liberty first half. I think they'll be up by about 10-15 at halftime. And then after that, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. But don't you just see the Liberty jumping this team? Because it's kind of what I expect.
Yeah, I mean, I see Brandon in the chat. He's talking about the Liberty's bench is better than the Suns. I don't think the Liberty's bench is that good, honestly.
They don't use it that often. But...
Yeah, I was about to say it was. They don't have anybody to use. Like, at least you had Maria Johannes and Kayla Thornton coming off the bench last year, but now Kayla Thornton is pseudo in the starting lineup while Vandersloot is out, and then it's just kind of we'll figure it out. Like, you don't even have Nair Sabali was the sixth person off the bench, and she's hurt, but I don't think that turns me off of the New York Liberty here. I'll lean 14.5, but I wouldn't play that. This is simple. It's a very, very simple play. Take the Liberty team total over 89.5 at -120.
If they're getting enough, they'll get to 90.
They're getting to 90. Like, it has to be a complete we're not caring. And matter of fact, I would also take, what's that first half team total? Let me see here. There we go. First half team total for the New York Liberty is at 46.5. I would take that too. 46. I can see them getting a 50 in the first half. Like, I really just think offensively they're going to be clicking, especially in that first half. So I like that first half team total over 46.5 at -115. I like the full game at 89.5 at -120. I just think offensively the Liberty are going to be up. And now we'll see defensively, was it just the fact that they played? Because you got to look at their last three games. They played the Phoenix Mercury, gave up 99. They played the Aces, still gave up 82 and 88 to the Washington Mystics, and that's without Brittany Sykes, Shakira Austin. So, I mean, nah. I question. We'll see. This is a significantly worse offensive team. I will say that. So there is a chance that they look better and they cover this line. But I think the Liberty are going to score regardless. So I just take their team total over. Anything else for you on the total? 163.5.
It's tough to lean under because the Liberty don't really guard anybody either. The Liberty defensively are kind of, I'd say, inconsistent, which is code word for when they want to lock in, they can. They just never want to. So I see points here. I once again think that Liberty first half team total might be worth a look, and they might end up dropping 50 in the first half. That wouldn't shock me. The Sparks watching that game, though, were really bad. Now, of course, Connecticut defensively is elite, so it's tough to fully grade That when you're against the best defense in the league, and now I'm suddenly supposed to draw a full conclusion of what your offense is. The Sparks on the road are a really bad basketball team. They're 1-7 on the road up to this point. It is a very good spot for the Liberty back at home to bury a bottom feeder after a long road trip against tough competition. It is a really good spot. So I think I would lean over, but as you said, mostly Liberty team total over. I saw somebody in the chat mentioning first quarter team total over. That was Hassan, who mentioned it at 23.5. I don't mind first half team total over. I see the Liberty just coming out swinging. I do want to find out, though, what the lineup's going to be if Vandersloot comes back, because she was rumored to come back last game and then at the end ended up not returning. I am wondering if she does come back, is she a bench player now? Is she starting? Like, what's happening there? So I kind of want to see what the lineup's going to be.
She's starting. You want Kayla Thornton to come off the bench. She just brings another level of energy with that second unit. But yeah. No, it'd be horrible. Unfortunately, if Vandersloot's on his team, she needs to be in the starting lineup. All right. Yeah, I'm with you. Liberty team total is probably the best thing I've seen thus far. I can't imagine Los Angeles locking down defensively after losing Brink like that.
That's kind of how I feel. I don't think the Sparks are any good. I think we both thought they would go under their win total. By the way, Michael, I don't know if it's actually that cold. I'm just being honest. The Sparks are a bottom feeder team. They're 4-11. Brink's one of their best, probably their best defensive player as a rookie. And now she's out for the year. This team was expected to be bad. They had the lowest win total in the league. They were supposed to be a really bad team. They've been competitive. They've been feisty. They beat the Aces as a nice win, but they're definitely a bottom feeder team. Like, they're easily bottom 3 in the league. That's a bottom feeder, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it might be cold. I'm just trying to be accurate.
I would say their team total right now is at 10.5. I still don't think they get to the. I think there's a chance they don't.
Under. I'll go under on that.
I still think there's a chance that they don't get to the 8.5 win total at the beginning of the season.
They haven't really played defense with Brink, and Brink's like a defensive player of the year caliber player.
So how bad does it get? That's the question. I think that's the question. How bad can this defense get?
It can get really bad. Connecticut, I thought, could have potentially dropped like 85-90 if they didn't basically pull everyone for the second half of the fourth quarter. I thought Connecticut got a bunch of wide open looks. All
right. Player props. Rickea Jackson, over 10.5 points. I don't know why this is going down and Brink's out of the lineup.
Shooter's going to shoot.
Yep. I mean, she's a big athletic wing. This is something that gives the Liberty problems. Like, I don't think she's going to go out here and have a crazy basketball game, but 10 points, 11 points. Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Rickea Jackson. She's been good. They continue to give her shots and give her shot attempts. And I think that making it into the starting lineup was the first step for her. Now getting more consistent with the scoring is the next step. And I think she's on her way. So over 10.5 in this one. Somebody's got to score. So over 10.5 for Rickea Jackson.
I mean, I'm going to keep running back Ionescu assists, but I am going to wait to see if Vandersloot's playing. It's up to 6.5, though. It is plus money. If Vandersloot's out, I might just keep running this back at this point because they're not fully adjusting to Ionescu being the point guard of the show. So I do think that her assist numbers have been very mispriced. That's why I took it as my dog last episode. She has 28 assists in the last 3 games. So I'll go back to the over, but only if Vandersloot's out. Because if Vandersloot's in, then I don't know how many minutes she's going to play, but the roles change, and that turns into a whole separate thing. So I'm going to wait, but if Vandersloot's out, give me Ionescu assists. I see a prop mentioned by Brandon. He likes on points in this game. I agree. Brink is a really good defender. They don't have enough size or just overall defensive integrity to stop anybody on the inside. Jonquel's been very solid offensively, especially when they force feed her. And that does pair nicely with Ionescu assists. We saw the 12 assist game that she had. She was just constantly feeding Jonquel down low against the Aces, and she had like 33 points or something. She had a monster game. I don't mind that angle. I think Jonquel and Brianna, I think Brianna had 28 last game. Both of them might just dominate in the paint in this game. It would not shock me if Jonquel and Brianna combined for like 45 points in this game. That's what I would do. Without Brink, they'd have no answers. Hamby is, okay defensively? But you might get into foul trouble anyway. You probably just want to blindly attack the paint against this team.
Yeah. It's just my only thing with the props on the Liberty side of the ball is that if this gets ugly,
The blowout, they're pulling everyone.
yeah, that's really it. That's really it. But I can't go against anything. I really think that Liberty are gonna demolish this team,
They
and
should.
we'll see, especially in a bounce back spot for sure. All right. Before we get to the next game on the slate, got to talk to you about Rhythm. WNBA features make it easier than ever to use data to bet on all the WNBA action this season. They have custom betting models. They have AI bet betting recommendations. Matter of fact, one of those AI bet betting recommendations recommended, guess what? The Atlanta Dream and Minnesota under, the one that was listed at 162.5 and then closed at 123. Yeah, absolutely. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM to get more winners just like that under in the Minnesota Lynx and Atlanta Dream game. All right. Last game we're gonna in depth talk about here. Well, no, I lied. We got lines that posted for Connecticut and Las Vegas,
we do.
Scott.
Cool.
So we'll talk about that game as well. But before that, on Friday, June 21st, we have the Indiana Fever on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream. Dreamer Lane 2, 162.5 is the total here. Ryan Howard did leave that game with a leg injury tonight. So her status is up in the air. We don't know. I'm going to try to look around, see if we got any other updates on Howard and what that injury was, but we don't have anything and probably won't have anything until tomorrow, concrete on what's going on. But she's, let me see here. Looks like it's an ankle roll. Maybe she didn't come back and play that game. I mean, play in the rest of the game. Maybe she plays in 2 days from now. But let's go ahead and say Ryan Howard isn't playing in this game.
I can't believe they're laying 2.5 right now, with or without Ryan Howard at this point. This team is awful. I know they beat the Sparks over the weekend, but damn, this team's not any good. At least the way I look at them. And now Howard might be out. I know our season's been up and down so far, and they still have Gray. They still have Charles, even though we acknowledge how bad of a fit we think Charles is with this team. Can any part of you take the Dream laying points even if Ryan Howard was going to play compromised, assuming she's like 60% and suits up? Fever have been hot. They've won 3 straight. Like, I don't know why I'd ever want to lay points at the Dream. Aren't I just taking Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, Indiana they've really taken advantage of this part of their schedule. And I mean, no Ryan Howard is just tough. Like, if you have no Ryan Howard, I don't know where. I mean, Cheyenne. Okay, so you bring Cheyenne up. So you have Nia Coffey, Cheyenne in the starting lineup, then Alicia Gray. Or does Ariel come up and Ariel play as a guard? Do you go big or go small? Like, that's the question. We don't know what this team looks like without Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard, you probably go big to try to slow down Aaliyah Boston and Alyssa Smith, but yeah, I mean, you got to take Indiana here. I just can't. I can't back Atlanta this offense. I can't back this offense at all, not knowing, one, what the lineup's going to be, two, the status of Ryan Howard. I just. If Indiana blows that, they're exactly who we thought they are. If they blow this game, they're exactly who they thought we are.
I have to at least acknowledge, though, that even if they are who we thought they were, at least they've looked competitive. They were horrible. They looked like the worst team in the league, arguably, for the first month. Mystics, didn't win a game, so maybe the second worst. But you get my point, though. They were awful. They were giving up 90 points to everybody. We saw the Liberty beat them by about 30 multiple times this season. I don't want to say turned it around, because I will acknowledge the schedule hasn't exactly been that difficult. At the same point,
I was about to say, the three teams they played were the Dream, the Sky, and the Mystics. all at
At
home.
least they look competent. You can argue that they're not actually like a good team. I'm not going to argue with you. I don't think Indiana's a great team, but at least they've won 3 straight. They've unlocked Boston. Finally, it took you 2 years to figure out that Aaliyah Boston's pretty good at basketball. There's some type of chemistry there. I saw Clark had like 12 rebounds tonight. She looks a little bit more comfortable. Efficiency could still be up and down, but the point is the assists have been fine. The rebounds have been okay. Boston's been great. I just think, and Mitchell's been solid in her role. So I think for this, the Fever might not be good, but they were horrible. Now they might be like okay, and that's good enough for me because
No,
I don't think
they're
I
not
don't think the
okay.
Dream are any good. I don't think the Dream are any good, and Howard.
They don't have a signature win on the season. How are we giving any team
I'm saying
credit that doesn't?
I don't know what the Dream count as. What did the Dream count as without Ryan Howard?
No, we didn't say. I didn't. We said the Dream suck.
That's my point.
Yeah, we said this is a bottom feeder team too. Like they're all towards the bottom, and it's just like
I think the wrong team's favored. Personally, I think Indiana should be favored, especially if Ryan Howard's not going to play. There's no way the Dream should be favored in this game.
no, because I'm not giving them credit. So I'm not giving them credit because
Well, how many points?
They got to go on the road. If they go on Ryan Howard to this Dream team, probably 1.5. Probably 1.5.
So that means you think the Dream are naturally laying 4
at home? Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably. Yeah.
Just making sure.
I mean, we still gotta take into account. Like, there's a number of things that we have taken into account here. One, all of those games were relatively close. The Dream, Chicago, and Washington. They were all relatively close at home for the Indiana. They gave up 84 to the Dream, 83 to Chicago, 81 to Washington tonight. In fact, in the last 5 games, they are 4-5, but 3 of those wins have been at home. The one win on the road was at Washington. They did end up playing the Connecticut Sun and got blew out. So it's like, I see it, but I don't see it. The only thing that I know to be consistent right now is the over. The over is 5-0 in their last 5. They just continue to let teams score. And we saw it even in the Atlanta Dream, even with Ryan Howard. That team looked horrible. And they still got the 84 points, and they would have had more if they didn't completely die in the 4th quarter. So maybe the fact is that they want to play. Atlanta wants to play through Tina Charles anyway. Ryan Howard, we have been very critical of Tanisha Wright, saying she hasn't been using Ryan Howard a lot. And so I think that now this is an opportunity where Tanisha Wright can say, hey, Ryan Howard's not here. We can play this offense. I want to do it. And maybe they look better. Maybe, possibly. That's why I'm on the over. That's the only thing I can play here. I will lean Indiana. I don't like it. I think that this is a natural spot where they won and swept 3 games at home, and then you go on the road and you have a clunker. Like that's a spot that happens in not just this league, but a whole bunch of leagues. Like, it's just a letdown spot of playing well at home and then going on the road and getting killed. So I just like the over. I think there's going to be points. And Atlanta has shown me that they can at least score if they're playing horrible defenses like Indiana. So, yeah.
Do you trust the Dream to actually score, though? I know the Fever are so
They just
bad defensively, but
against this team, Indiana's giving up points, man. Like, they're giving away free points, whether it's easy drives into the lane, not playing defense, backdoor cuts, like all of this stuff. Indiana gives up points. Like, teams walk into 80. Even poor defense. Like, there's so many times offensively in the Atlanta game, in the Chicago game, in the Washington game, both of the Washington games, where I remember saying, man, this offense is horrible. And yet they all ended up with 80 points somehow.
Yeah, I think I do like Fever team total over potentially, but yeah, I guess you're right. I guess in theory I'll lean over, but it is very tough to take overs with the Dream right now because I still don't trust this team at all. So yeah, I'll lean over, I guess, but I'm not overly calling it a lock or anything. So
all right. Let's see here. I don't have any player props or anything for you, but I'll say if Ryan Howard doesn't play, you're probably looking at Alicia Gray and Tina Charles. I would play Tina Charles regardless, honestly.
Well, yeah, I feel like attacking Indiana's front court's usually the move. Maybe rebounds for Charles.
They're
Parker
going to
might
try
be
to
in
get
line for a
Boston in
great
foul trouble. They're going to try to get Boston in foul trouble and just get her out the game. I'm almost positive that's going to
It
be
might
the
be a
game plan.
rebounds thing. If you want to go for Charles, maybe if you want to go for Parker. I don't know if we're going to get Parker once because she's coming off the bench now, but she's still playing 27 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. So when Ryan Howard goes down, like who are you bring? I'm so interested to see what this lineup looks like. Who are you bringing up? Are you bringing up Parker and going big? Are you bringing in Dangerfield for defense? Are you bringing in Aerial Powers for some offense? Like who's gonna be that extra person? Is it gonna be like who's gonna be? I'm very interested. So,
if I had to guess, I'll guess Dangerfield, but I don't know how many minutes she's going to play. If
I
I
feel
had
like
to
it's
guess,
either Dangerfield. I feel like it's either Dangerfield or Powers, but
it's going to be one of those two. I doubt they're going to go super big. So they're going to
Yeah.
use one of those two. But
and they
point is
like me a
Ryan-
coffee starting.
it is important to mention, though, because Ryan Howard did have 26 points. She actually led the entire team in points in that first meeting. So with her being out potentially, that's a massive loss for that team. So
When Crystal Dangerfield starts in this game, she's literally guarding. She's guarding Caitlin Clark 94 feet the entire game. That would actually be really annoying.
I think that's what I would do. That's why I
Dangerfield's an
use
annoying
Dangerfield.
defender.
You use the fouls
Dangerfield's
up.
an
You let her
annoying-
use her hands. She tries to full court. She's tenacious on defense. We saw that throughout her career. So I think that's probably the move, especially against Caitlin. You probably just pressure her and let the activity try to bother her, if I had to guess. But yeah, we'll see. Point is, though, with Howard being out, I can't take this team anyway. So I'll take Indiana.
And it's not 100% that she's out as well. She could very well play in this game.
Yeah, she could,
So,
but you never know.
It's a lot of things to consider. Just wait and check an injury report. It's a lot of things to consider here.
Yeah.
All right. Last game up. Las Vegas Aces on the road. No, at home. I'm sorry. Las Vegas Aces are at home playing Connecticut Sun, who are on the road. Aces are laying 2. 162.5 is the total. Aces are playing right now, and they currently have a
They're up a ton.
57-40 lead into the third quarter, halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, Jackie Young's on a heater. She has 26 points in 22 minutes.
Cooking. And I mean, look, 40 points by the Seattle Storm in the third quarter. Defense is up.
It really comes down to something that we've talked about for the Sun for years. Are they going to win these step-up games? I feel like it's a pretty accurate description of the team to say that they've always been, I don't want to say a tier below the Aces, but basically a tier below. They're just a team that no matter how good they are in the regular season, you never really trust them to actually win games against elite competition. That's why the Liberty own them, and they have owned them for years at this point. Where I think even if the Sun have the best record in the league, they've only lost one game. You go into a playoff series and probably take the Aces and probably take the Liberty against them. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So
it's who Connecticut's been for the past. Well, definitely since last year. They're the third best team in the league. Like they've always been the third best team in the league. And you have times, when you go back when Jonquil Jones was playing for them, where they might have been the second best team in the league. But they were never number one.
They made the finals, once? And the Aces beat them?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was
it's the bridesmaid, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
The point is, though, it's in Vegas. I don't know how many of these type of games, historically speaking, the Sun actually win. And the Aces, we know, have the talent. Chelsea Gray, is she playing tonight?
Yeah, she is. She's playing in 3 and 4 minute bursts. Her first 4-minute burst, she had 2 assists.
Good. Okay. So the point is she'll get a little bit of a ramp up there. So maybe she'll play like 15 minutes in this game, give or take. That still helps. We know the Aces are more talented. The Sun have been trying to get better offensively, and I do acknowledge it. But I still think that Asia is going to be a problem. I still think that Jackie's going to be a problem. Plum, I know I'm more down on than other people, but the point is I do think that Plum is still a very solid player compared to the rest of the league. I just don't think the Sun have enough scoring. And I think as good as the Suns' defense is, playing in Vegas, if Vegas can duplicate whatever gear they have defensively tonight, I think they'll win this game comfortably. So I just think that there's a certain ceiling. There's a certain ceiling that I think the Aces have that the Sun don't. That's kind of the problem I run into with the Sun.
Even if they don't, even if the Aces look horrible defensively, do the Sun have enough options? The Aces are going to score against anybody at this point.
how many points do you think Bonner needs to realistically score for them to actually win a game against the Aces? Like 25?
25.
I mean, that's asking a lot.
25.
We know as
Yeah.
good as AT is, we know she's never going to be looking for a shot on a regular basis. So she might give you a solid game as like 15. She might give you like 8 assists with that, but I just don't think they have enough scoring. Harris has been good. Carrington's been good. Like, they've had players step up, but the star power edge is just completely in favor of the Aces. I just think the Aces are a better team. I know the
If the
record
Aces
is
are
what
hitting,
it is.
if the Aces are hitting their threes, the Sun are not replicating that. They're not replicating that. It's just way too many. It's way too many offensive options, and it's just where are the Aces? Where are the Sun players better when they're scoring? They're better when they're scoring inside the paint. Now, the Aces have struggled inside the paint, but at the end of the day, when you're anchored by Asia Wilson, you always like your chances any given night against people driving in against her. Like, so, I mean, we'll see what they look like. They've made a change to the lineup and adding Tiffany Hayes to the starting lineup for this game. And you can see the offensive numbers have gone up. They're bringing Clark back off the bench. And Clark defensively could make a really big impact in this game as well, whether she's coming off the bench or whether she's in the starting lineup, because she's just a really solid defender. Like, this is just a clear, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. They don't beat the Liberty. They don't beat the Aces.
No, they don't. Maybe they'll win like one game in like a
Yeah,
series.
but consistently, I'm not taking this team against
Grand
them. Like,
scheme
this
of
is always
things,
who they've been.
yeah, they
This is
usually lose.
always who they've been.
So I think 2 is actually pretty cheap, just based on the overall reputation of these teams. I get the argument is the Sun this year maybe are different. Maybe they figured it out. I got to wait and see when they actually play league competition, because so far they're what, 0-1? We saw the Liberty beat them, and I thought that they looked
I
pretty
mean, they
good.
played Minnesota, but that's before everybody was on the Minnesota train. So I
We're
don't know
just
if you
focusing on the
that.
2 big dogs right now. They've had one serious test this season, and they fell short, which is pretty
Yeah.
standard. So
Yeah.
I'll go with the Aces.
I'm
If it
with
was
you.
in
I'm on
Connecticut,
Aces.
maybe we can consider it, but in Vegas, no, I just think the Aces win.
I think the Aces can score against anybody. It's just, are you able to match their scoring? Because as you can see tonight, the Storm can't match their scoring, and we're through 3 quarters. They just can't keep up.
Yeah.
I don't think the Sun going to be keep up. Yeah, I'm on the Aces. It's pretty easy. All right.
Is it weird to
Total.
like the under? I kind of like the under in this game.
I'm not playing the Aces under you. Good luck for you, but I'm straight.
What are the chances the Aces can duplicate this tonight, or is this just a fluke?
I mean, I'm sure there's a chance that they could. I think that the Sun and the Storm are pretty comparable. Storm just a better offensive team. I think they're pretty comparable, but I'm just not going to trust the Aces defense to step up. Like, I don't want to do that until I have a strong sample size where I can say, hey, this made them better defensively. But at this point, it's not nothing that's making them better or worse. They're just not doing it. They're just not doing it, and they're giving up a bunch of points. And so I prefer not. I'm just going to go over.
Yeah,
But I would take a Aces team total over. I think they're going to be able to score. Like, I think they're going to score. I think the Aces could score against anybody. And now Chelsea Gray is back. I really think they could score against anybody. Like, it's just they have too many individual options. Playing as a team is not hard.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if you broke up there. I think if I was going to actually look for a total, I know it's going to sound dangerous because it's against the Aces, but the Suns team totals at like 80.5. Isn't that massive? Isn't that like massive for a road game against the Aces? I understand the Aces defensively. If
No.
they look as bad as they did earlier in the year, then yes, the Sun can even score 85. That's asking a lot for a team that plays pretty slow. And for a defense that maybe is starting to figure it out. Who knows? We don't know if it's a one-off or not. I know you were a lot lower on the Storm going into tonight's game, and you were right so far. So you might have just had a great read on the game. The Storm just no-showed it is what it is. 80.5 for a team total, though, for the Sun feels pretty high. I actually don't mind the under on that. Is that a hot take?
No, I mean, it's just you're calling it before it happens. That's all it is. I just say you're just calling it before it happens, and you're getting ahead of the Aces, looking better defensively, and I can't get there yet. I can't get there yet.
All right.
All right. So under for you, Sun team total under for you. Vegas team total over for me. We're both on the aces. All right. Lock, dog, underdog lineup. And then let's get out of here. Oh, and I'll drop a little parlay too. All right. For my lock, it's between Liberty team total over and the aces. I'm just trusting. I'm just trust what's going on. I'm gonna just trust what's going on overall. This Aces team, this Connecticut Sun team, just doesn't beat the Aces and the Liberty consistently. Like they just don't, and it's just because those teams can score way too much, man. Like the scoring is like the Sun are a good defensive team until they play the Aces and the Liberty, and that's how it's been. I don't think anything's changing there. I think they're going to struggle. So, do I want to take the Aces on the money line, or do I want to see if I can find a team total over? First, let's see what that team total over would be.
I'm quickly pulling up the head-to-head history between the Aces and the Sun. I'm just out of curiosity. I just want to know.
I don't have a team total over. So, it'll probably be the Aces money line. Right here, I have the last 5 head-to-head between these two teams, and boom. The Aces have won 3 of the last 4 in the regular. Is this the regular season? Yeah, regular season, 3 of the last 4. Okay. And this goes back to 2000. This goes back to 2022. So this is a wide sample size. They got a win in Connecticut, but actually the only 2 wins that they got were in Connecticut.
That's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, only 2 wins that Connecticut got are at home, but they have not beaten them. They got ran out of the building as a 10.5-point dog. I don't know who was on these teams, so I can't tell you if somebody was out or not. But 3 of the last 5, it doesn't change for me. I'm taking the Aces. Go ahead, get it done here. I'll lay the 2. That's my lock.
I believe not including the playoffs, the Aces are 6-2 in the last 8, not including playoffs. Okay. So it's been pretty lopsided in favor of the Aces. All right, so you're going with the money line or you're going with the spread?
What is the money line, actually? No, give me a spread. Lay the 2.
All right.
All right, for my dog. We are going to.
You can merge the segments. You can do a parlay as your dog.
Yeah, I might, because I don't think it's a player prop that I just fall in love with in that Liberty and Sparks game. So we are going to parlay the dog, and we're going to take the over in the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever game, because I expect points regardless. So we'll do that. And we'll mix that with Liberty team total over. Yeah.
What's that number at?
89.5 minus 120.
Okay.
With the 162.5 minus 110. About 2 plus 260 plus 250 in that range around there. Shop your lines, of course. I'm not like, and by the way, when we give out all these lines, I'm not going through a whole bunch of books to get the best line to give out on the pod. I do that on my own time, just like I trust you do it on your own time. Make sure you always shop your lines.
All right, so just
lock Aces, lane 2, dog, taking the Liberty team total over 89.5, and then the over in the Dream in the Fever game.
All right, so for my lock, I think we're actually going to just wrap up the locks together. I'm taking the Aces, a -2. I'm going to dare the Sun team to actually step up against elite competition. Yes, I know the Sun have been great this season. I know the record's really good. I'm not disrespecting them. In order to be the champion, you got to beat the champion, and they just never beat this team. So looking at the recent games that the Sun have played, they have won 4 straight. Beat the Sparks, beat the Wings, beat the Sky, beat the Fever. Congratulations. If I want to go back even further, beat the Mystics, beat the Dream, beat the Wings, beat the Mercury. They killed the Mercury. That was before Griner showed up. Beat the Sky, beat the Lynx by 1. That's a good win there, but very close game. Beat the Fever, beat the Mystics, beat the Fever. So you're looking at them beating the Lynx by 1, and they beat the Mercury without Griner. Are those the only 2 like good wins they have on their entire schedule? It feels like they've played the Sky, the Mystics, and the Fever like 6 times already. I don't think they've really played anybody. I think the Aces, based on what they're doing tonight against the Storm, are kind of underrated right now, especially if Gray's going to come back and provide some solid minutes, maybe in a limited sample size, or at least a limited role at this point. But I don't think the Sun have actually beaten many good teams, and the one time they played the Liberty, they lost by 7 at home. So I think that their record's actually pretty padded at 13-1. I'm going to go with the Aces, -2. So we're going to co-lock that. I don't mind the team total under for the Sun. If you want to maybe same game parlay that, you can. I don't mind it if you want to go for some plus money. For my dog on the show, I think I'm actually going to go with an alt line, and it's going to be dangerous, but I'm going to take it anyway. Give me the Fever minus. We'll go with Fever -2.5. They're getting 2.5 right now. I'll lay the 2.5. I'm not sure Howard's going to play, and the line's going to move, but I think that the Fever are the better team right now based on current form. Maybe not in general, but with Howard being out, that's a big deal. Tina Charles, by the way, was horrible in that first meeting. I think she only had 3 points in like 16 minutes. They played her off the floor in that first meeting. So I don't really trust the Dream to do anything right now. Give me an alt spread on the Fever. Give me Fever -2.5. I don't know if you have a line on that on Bet365, but I'll check.
Oh,
I know they have alts. I could check. But I do like the Fever's chances of winning that game. So
let's see here.
Get.
Fever Dream. We will game lines.
They don't
I
have
can
it.
get Fever laying 2.5 on DraftKings at +140. That just barely beat it.
Sure, we'll take it. Give me the -2.5.
All right, there we go. We actually can't really give you an underdog lineup, so change my mind on that. Can't do that today. However, I will drop another parlay.
Maybe I'll do. I might do a YouTube short type of underdog thing tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that.
We're going to go with my parlay. How do I want to play this? Because I already gave out a little one. I want to get a little. So let's go. We're going to go back to the Aces over for sure. Aces signed over 162.5. That's the first leg. I'll take Indiana, but I'll take Indiana in the first half.
Okay.
They're better first half team than they are a second half team. And Atlanta's a horrible first half team. Absolutely horrible first half team. So I'll take Indiana in the first half. And can I get another? Ooh, can I get a player prop? No, I can't. Okay. Well, I guess I can go for a player prop in this one. I would have loved to just run back Candy Carter. But you know what? That's cool. That's cool.
Which book are you trying to use right now?
I'm on DraftKings now.
Oh, okay, cool. I was going to offer you a Liberty first half team total, but that's not on DraftKings, so that's fine.
Nah, I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna take Sabrina, but I'm gonna take Sabrina for everything because she's been really, really good. So Sabrina, points, rebounds, and assists, 29.5 -110 over. She's been hitting from 3. She's been getting the assists. She's been on the board. So just go out there and just start putting on a stat sheet. There we go. Sabrina over 29.5 PRA. We have Indiana Fever first half money line and the over 162.5 for the Aces and Sun. That is +650. Not bad.
Cool.
Limited order options there, but it's all good. Now, Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No. I'm looking forward to the games. Should be fun. Enjoy camp day. If you remember that we have daytime basketball, afternoon basketball tomorrow. So check in for that Sky game. But yeah, looking forward to the next episode. We should be back on Friday night.
I
Correct?
lied. I want to change the
What?
parlay.
Oh, okay.
Take some brain off. Give me the under 160.5 in that Wings Sky game. It's at 12 o'clock, bro.
Yeah. It's such a
It's a
random
12 o'clock
time for a game.
Yeah, it's an early game. I forgot, but it's an early game. I gotta take the under. So scratch Sabrina, and give me the under 160.5, 161, wherever you find that at.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Now,
that Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Give us a comment here. And if you're listening via podcast or you're not listening via podcast, go make sure you're getting the podcast downloads. We could use those, and it takes no skin off your back. So just go wherever you get your podcast, give us a subscribe and follow, and make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to end it like this. We are out of here.